Hi, Donald here with Floating Feathers Kayak Fly Fishing School with another tips and tricks. And this tips and tricks is on false casting. Don't over false cast, or don't overuse the false cast. What I mean by that, I see a lot of beginners and even some experienced fly fishers, and I say experienced, I don't mean people that's been fly fishing for 30 years. They've pretty much got this down, but newer, 5 years and under, or 3 years and under, something like that. No novice, beginners, however you want to say it, people that don't have multiple years of experience in 5, 10, 15, 20, something like that. So false casting. False casting is used to help get your line out, to help get your accuracy, to help get your distance. It's helped to get the fly moving, the fly line, and it's used to get to the point where you want to deliver the fly. However, there's a lot of overuse of the false cast. And I'm going to tell you, in 90% of your fishing, that's right, 90% of your fly fishing, you're only going to need 2 to 3 false casts, and that's it. And 90% of your fishing. 3 is about max. You may have to go, 1 or 2 more, but 2 to 3. I say 3 false casts is about as all you're going to have to do in 90% of your fishing. And most of the time, it might be 1 or 2 false casts, but 3 is about your max. Now, this doesn't apply. Now, let me start that over. This applies, like I said, to 90% of your fishing. Where it doesn't really apply is when you're trying to change positions where you're fishing. So if I'm fishing over here in a stream or a river or a lake or this side of the kayak or whatever, and I see fish activity over here, like maybe there's redfish, boiling, or there's tarpon jumping or something like that, and I want to fish over here. Well, I cannot effectively and efficiently and properly be fishing over here, take my fly line and try to put it over there. It's just not going to work correctly. So I have to use a series of false casts to change that position. And it's because it's more than 30 degrees, it's going to take a few false casts to get there. So one of the exceptions is, I may have to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then deliver that fly. So it may take 5 or more. That's when you're changing positions of more than 30 degrees on the water. Up to 30 degrees, you're probably using, again, 2 to 3 false casts to change that position. So if I'm fishing over here and I see a fish jump, just to the left of the camera there, I may 1 false cast, 2 false cast, 3rd false cast, right? Get the fly line out where I want it and then deliver. Boom. So that's 3 false casts. That's to go about 30 degrees. Anything over 30 degrees may take 1 or 2 more. The other instance where false casting may exceed the 2 to 3 limit is when you're doing single hauls and double hauls. But that is advanced fly fishing. That is not really something beginners do a lot of. But when you're learning that single haul and double haul, just keep in mind that there are limits on how many false casts that can do as well. And the reason we want to limit false casting in all of our fishing to as minimal as possible, there's a couple reasons. One is the fish can see movement, right? They can see the movement of that fly line. They can see the movement of your fly rod. And if you're in a kayak, you're moving that kayak every time you cast. Even if it may just be a little bit of movement, you're still moving that. You're putting vibrations through the water. You're putting movement on the surface of the water. Fishes can see that. Fishes can sense that. And fish can sense or see this movement on top of the water, right? Now, they may not be as close to you. They're not right there at the kayak, but they do see that movement. They also see the fly line coming in and going out, coming in and going out, coming in and going out, coming in and going out. And that is going to spook those fish. So the more you false cast, the higher chances you have of spooking the fish you're trying to catch in the first place. So limit your false casting. You can practice, and how do you, so how do you eliminate false casting, right? I know that's your question. So when you're practicing casting, or when the fish aren't biting, right? And some days there are that. You're out in the water, the fish just aren't hitting, and maybe you're trying to do fly, whatever it is. Practice your casting. Practice taking only 2 to 3 casts and then deliver that fly. Even if the fly does not go exactly where you wanted it to go, you could still catch a fish there, okay? Having a fly land in the wrong spot can potentially catch you a fish. Having the fly line repeatedly go in and out because you're just not happy with where the fly might end up is going to never catch you a fish. It will never catch you a fish. The fly has to be in the water, and if you're false casting, the fly cannot possibly be in the water, right? So it's got a probability. If you keep false casting and that line is going over the water and back, and that movement, and maybe it's a color, maybe it's just the shadows, maybe whatever it is causing that fish to see movement, you're going to spook that fish. But if you accidentally cast 20 feet or 10 feet or 15 feet from where you intended to put that fly, there still may be a fish there, right? It's a good possibility that a fish could still take that fly. That fish that you was targeting may still take that fly. However, if it's in the air, that fish will never take that fly because you're going so fast in that false casting. So when you're practicing your casting, or even when you're fishing, just keep in the back of your head, 2 to 3 false casts should do it for 90% of my fishing. And if I'm taking more than 3 false casts, what am I doing wrong? You really have to examine your fly casting technique, and that may be where you need to go see a teacher, an instructor of some sort in fly casting to help you get better at your fly casting and delivering that fly quicker, sooner, and with more accuracy to eliminate that over false casting. So that is my tips and tricks to you on false casting. Limit it to 2 to 3 on 90% of your fishing. Practice it. If you're still having trouble with it, get with an instructor. Watch YouTube videos. An instructor, in-person instructor, is going to be able to give you immediate feedback where a YouTube video just cannot. There's no way to give that immediate feedback on your casting style or what you can fix, where an instructor in person can really look at your casting and figure out maybe your timing's off, maybe you're just not coming forward, maybe you're not stopping. A lot of things can go wrong with that, right? It's fly casting. It's an art. It takes a long time to get right, and it takes a long time to build to master just the basics, all right? And this is basic fly casting. Limit your false casting. All right, that does it for me this video. Please tune in every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central for more tips and tricks right here on the Floating Feathers Kayak Fly Fishing School channel. And until next time, tight lines and safe paddles.